But in any event, let's get going. So let's start in our Shavasana. So back lying. I'm just going to mute you all if that's okay. And let's start our Sunday with a really nice movement practice. I probably sound like a broken record, but think of this morning as undoing and just finding that less is more. So find somewhere comfortable on your back. Knees can be bent or straight. You can have a blanket. You can dim the lights. Pillow under your head if that's more comfortable. Just lengthen the back of your neck. Roll the shoulders back. Arms can be at your side body, palms to the ceiling if that feels good. And let's just spend the next couple minutes finding some quiet time in your body. As you settle into your Shavasana, just start to notice your breath. Expanding as you inhale, sending your breath into your rib cage, your belly, all the way down to your pelvis. And as you exhale, work towards lengthening that exhale, emptying the breath as much as you can. Sometimes it's difficult to lengthen your inhale and lengthen your exhale, but work towards that if you can. Taking your time to create more breath and working towards that active exhale. So you almost work towards emptying the full breath. It's a little more active than your inhale. Allow the back body to get a little heavier. Allow your shoulders to fall back, the collarbones to be broad. Allow your lower back, your pelvis, and hips to soften into the mat. And just spend the next few breaths just noticing how you feel in the body, in your body. Breathe into any areas of tension and allow that breath to breathe into the area of tension and your body to soften with the exhale. Sometimes we get stuck in that cycle where something's tight and sore. Maybe we avoid moving into any more tightness and soreness. It gets a little more tight and sore, and then it becomes a holding pattern as well as an area of concern. So just breathe into anything so you can create that mind-body connection of where there's maybe some attention needed for today. On your next inhale, let's take a big sweep of those arms up overhead. Straighten your knees and your legs if they're bent. Clasp your fingers together and flip your palms to the back of the room and just give a big full body lengthening stretch. You can point and flex your feet. You can reach through one leg, a little side bend up top, and then the other leg. Just kind of notice what that does. One more big breath in. Exhale, let it go, and let's inhale, knees to chest. Just rock a little side to side. Softly hold the knees to chest. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and lengthen the back of your neck. Holding under the knees if that's more comfortable. And just rolling from side to side. Just notice what your lower back feels like. Find that sweet spot in how much you're hugging the knees. And then let's keep the knees together and trace a circle on the ceiling with your knees. Picking a direction, and I'm just rocking to create that circle on the ceiling with my knees. So the knees come away, and they come a little closer. Just nice and smooth, and just notice. And then let's go the other direction. So circling the knees in the ceiling. Letting the spine rock a little from side to side as you do that. And coming to stillness, knees at the top. Now let's do that with knees coming apart. So now I'm creating two circles on the ceiling, each with each knee. The knees come together through the midline and then reach away. So you're really moving through that hip joint. Sometimes it helps to put just the little slightest bit of downward pressure through the knees, just to anchor the hips. And this time we're not really moving through the spine, we're circling the hip in the socket. There might be some rough spots, that's okay. You might get a few clicks and pops, that's okay. Just find the circle that works for you. And then let's reverse that, go in the opposite direction. So pretty normal to feel some inner thigh muscle adductor tightness. Pretty normal to feel some pinching or tightness as you move through the groin. But other than that, you should feel like you can move the thigh and circle the hip in the socket. Come back up to center now. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, just hug those knees into your chest. And if it feels okay, lift your head and shoulders up off the mat, curl into a little ball, and then exhale, release. Place your knees or your feet down on the mat. Place them nice and wide as your yoga mat. Knees are bent, feet are on the mat. Take your hands to a T, palms up to the ceiling. Snuggle your shoulder blades away from your ears and make sure the back of your neck is long. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And just moving through that, and again, kind of exploring how the hips feel this morning. Just noticing what you notice there. Try and keep that front upper body, chest, front of shoulder, relaxed down to the mat or down to the floor, I guess. And just actively pull the thighs, the knees down to either side. Notice how much your spine needs to move with that. Ideally, most of this comes through the hips. It's such a simple movement, but it's a great rotation movement for the hips. Now, coming back to center, bring your arms down alongside your body. Palms can face the floor or down to the mat now. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's lift your hips up into a glute bridge. Open up, reach the knees away, squeeze the glutes. Take another deep breath in at the top. Exhale, soften down. And as you lower down, feel the lower back touch down before the back of the hips. Let's do that one more time. So inhale to relax. Exhale, squeeze the glutes, press into the feet, reach the knees away. Feel the weight come up and into the shoulder blades, but the back of the neck is long. And then softly lower. Feel the lower back connect first. Take the soles of the feet together, the knees wide, butterfly pose. Hands can come back out to a T, palms to the ceiling, or you can find that cactus position. So in the cactus position, my shoulders are at 90 degrees, my elbows are at 90 degrees as well. The back of my hand is resting to the floor. And then I just want you to wiggle from side to side. Just tip those knees back and forth. You might feel your lower back pop away from the mat a little, that's okay. You'll feel some tightness in the groin. Adjust your heels closer or further away. And I'm just rocking the knees, the pelvis, the hips from side to side. Keeping the upper body relaxed. Good. And then just rest to stillness. Still in the butterfly pose. Squeeze the glutes and really press the outside of the knees down to the mat. Feel all kinds of tightness happening around your hips there. And then let it go. Let's do that again. Take a breath in. Exhale. Squeeze your bum and really reach the outside of the knees down to the mat. And just kind of notice. And then relax. And one more time. Big breath in. Exhale. Outside of the knees down towards the mat. Squeeze your bum and reach. And then relax. Good. Knees back up to center. Let's just keep the knees bent, feet on the floor. You can snuggle your heels up towards your bum a little bit. Let's bring those arms back to a T position, palms up to the ceiling. Snuggle your shoulder blades away from your ears. And then I want to do the same thing at your shoulders that we did at the hips. So we're going to localize or isolate that rotation at the shoulder joint, the ball and socket. So I want you to turn your palms towards the floor, but rather than doing that just through your forearm, try and turn the shoulders into and then return back to the start. See if you can send your brain to turning the shoulder joint inwards. It feels awkward, and I actually feel my core kind of turn on a little bit to try and support that, and then turn outwards and just kind of notice what that feels like. Let's do that one more time. So turn in at the shoulders, palms down to the floor. The back of the shoulder will roll off the mat just a little bit. Perfect. Let that relax. Take an inhale, take those arms up overhead again. Flip the palms, intertwine the fingers to the back of the room. Just take a couple deep breaths with your knees bent here, your feet planted. See if you can get your lower back to the mat. Pull the ribs down, so an active core. Take a deep breath and reach those arms away. How much reach do you have in your armpits? Elbows are straight, palms are reaching away. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, soften down. Let's hug knees to chest. Little rock and roll here. Good. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, left leg goes long. Exhale, right knee hugs to chest. Left leg is reaching away, foot is flexed. That back of the thigh is connected to the mat. Inhale for that length, exhale, knee to chest. Find that nice rotation of the pelvis and the flexion of the thigh towards your chest on the right. Keep those shoulders away from your ears, back of the neck long. Then reach down with your left foot towards the outside, or your left hand rather, towards the outside of the right foot, or you can hold on to the outside of that right shin. Let's come into our sleeping pigeon. So I'm going to draw the right foot across the body. Right knee goes wide, and I can press that right knee away, or I can hug it towards me. Maybe explore and see what feels best for you. So my right foot is flexed, right knee is bent. I'm finding that rotation of the hip, so it looks like I'm in pigeon just on my back. I'm going to play with pulling the whole thigh, shin towards me, and also pulling the foot towards me and gently pushing the knee away. I get that nice stretch through the outside of my right hip, but just gentle. And then one other component is you can rock that right leg from side to side. So I can pull it across the body and then pull it back to the right. So I'm just exploring that right hip movement. It's getting a little deeper into my bum. This is good. I can bend the knee a little bit more, pull away. I can straighten the knee a little bit more, pull towards. Just make it a little bit more dynamic. Let's unwind and let's go back to hugging just that simple right knee to chest. And then I'm going to ask you to let go of the knee and hands down at your side body, palms down to give you some stability. I'm going to ask you to take the knee back to about 90 degrees. So now my knee's pointed to the ceiling, and I'm going to straighten that right knee as much as I can to lengthen through the hamstrings. So I'm working hard here. You may need to lower the leg more and bend the knee, that's cool. But find that hamstring length and actively pull the belly in, press the back to the mat, and reach your right heel to the ceiling. Take a big, big breath in. And then as you exhale, just slowly lower that leg down towards the mat. Awesome. Take a nice inhale and let's lift that right leg straight all the way back up. So a real active lengthening, active strength required for that pose. And again, just find what works for you. Soften the knee, relax the foot, lower the leg. Find your optimum. Take one more breath in here. And then as you exhale, just slowly lower the right leg. Okay, inhale, knees hug to chest, rock and roll. I'm sure at least some of you or many of you had a click or a clunk in your hip. It's not a bad thing. It's usually just the hip flexor snapping over top of the hip. It's a sign of tightness and a challenge with control. If it's a big clunk on the inside, we should talk, but even then, it's not a big worry. The hip is such a strong, stable joint. All right, let's take a big breath in. And as we exhale, straighten that, right leg long. And we'll hug the left knee to chest. Good, you can hug under the knee if that's more comfortable. Remember that right leg is long, right foot is flexed. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, left knee to chest. Good, and then let's find that sleeping pigeon. So let's reach down for the outside of the left foot with your right hand. Cradle the outside of the left knee. You can always hold the shin. And then just see what this side feels like. So options are to hug the whole lower leg towards you. Maybe hug the foot, press the knee away. You can also slide the whole leg back and forth. And just again, noticing. So this side tends to be a bit more wound up for me. So I have a little more feelings on the inner thigh here, as well as the outer thigh. It's harder for me to rotate the hip and press the knee away. Make sure you're keeping that right side connected to the mat as you kind of explore and lengthen as best you can in that left leg. Shoulders still down away from the ears. Make sure you're not working too hard for this. Less is more, but find that sweet spot. All right, undoing that, giving the knee a hug towards the chest again on that left side. Take a nice deep breath in, and then let's lengthen that leg, that left leg straight towards the ceiling, but bend the knee, relax the foot, find your sweet spot. Keep the lower back connected to the mat. Take a big breath in, reach for length in that hamstring back of leg. Exhale, soften down. My hands are down at my side body. And this side might be a bit easier, a bit harder. There goes my hip clunk. We'll take a nice deep breath in. And let's raise that left leg all the way up towards the ceiling. Find that length. And then you can exhale, slowly lower. Clunk. Okay, inhale, knees to chest. Rock and roll. Want to notice what you notice. You want to circle those hips in the socket a little bit again. You can do that. Just kind of notice. Good. Now we're going to rock up to our hands and knees now. So any way that works for you. And let's find our tabletop and we'll move through some work here. So finding your tabletop, you can tuck or untuck your toes. Wrists are under the shoulders, fingers are spread wide. Really root into your index finger and your thumb, and you want to kind of be pressing down or knuckling down so you're not just hanging out on your wrists. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and moving into our cat-cow. Inhaling, arching the spine, lifting the gaze, pulling the shoulders back. Exhaling, rounding the spine, relaxing through the tailbone. Really pull up from the front lower belly button area. Press between your shoulder blades, hang your head. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling, draw the shoulders away from the ears, looking up. And then exhale, softening. It seems so oversimplified, but the ability to do this movement really gives us some insight into your spine. I had someone in this week with post-concussion syndrome, and he couldn't move at all. He couldn't move the spine. There's so much guarding, protecting, and changes that happen that he's kind of lost that ability. And tell me that doesn't make your headaches and your neck pain worse. So one more time. Exhaling, rounding, reaching between the shoulder blades, and back to neutral. Okay, let's work the shoulders a little bit more. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. I'm going to place my forearms down on the mat, palms down, and I'm going to work to bring my forearms right together. I'm still on my knees, palms down, forearms are sealed together. Wrists will be on a bit of an angle, but we want those palms down here. So already I feel some tightness in my shoulder, and I want to kind of just dump into my lower back. So find the straight spine that you had in your tabletop. Pull the shoulders away from your ears, and then see if you can sink your bum down toward your heels through your shoulders and your middle back, not by arching your spine and hanging out there, and then rocking back up. So play with that for me. Shoulders down, belly's in, spine is straight. Inhale. Exhale, sink back. Notice what you notice there. So definitely strength required. Pull the shoulders down as best you can. So you don't want to take that up in your neck. So you don't want your shoulders up around your ears. You have to actively pull them down. And it depends where things are tight that you'll feel that. So armpits, middle back being the most common. So one more time. Shoulders down, spine straight. Exhale, move hips back to heels. I even get a little bit achy in my forearms because they tend to be tight too. Good. And then rock back up. Just come up on your knees. Just circle your wrists a little. Roll out through your shoulders. We'll do the same thing, but this time we'll do it with your palms up. It's a little bit easier. So probably one of the biggest areas we compensate here is by just arching the spine. And that's not ideal. If you think of how we overhead press and how we want to do thrusters and stuff, we don't want to arch the spine. So spine is straight. This time I have my palms up to the ceiling. My forearms are zippered together. My shoulders are down. I'm going to inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to sink my hips back down to my heels. My forearms want to come apart, especially at the elbow. So I'm working to keep them together. Back up to center. And I'm also reaching the thumbs down to the mat. This one gets me more my shoulders. My middle back seems pretty good. I got the back of the neck long. And then coming back up. Let's do it a couple more times. So shoulders down. Hips to heels. So this is a real great shoulder mobilizer. And learning to keep your spine straight as you stretch through the shoulders. Awesome. Come on up there, roll the shoulders out. Oh, that's tight for me. Roll your wrists a little. Wonderful. We're going to come into a child's pose, and if it's available to you, I'd like you to cross the knees one over the other, and then legs go wide, and then we sit back in the child's pose that way. It's tricky. It requires a lot more mobility. So if that's not there for you, no worries. Come back into our normal child's pose. If you can play with that, we'll do both sides, but you basically hug the thighs and the knees together, feet come wide, and then you sink your bum back into that child's pose. I'm gonna have a look at you guys who have your cameras on. So it's just a different version. So either your normal child's pose, taking a few deep breaths, or try crossing one leg over the other. There you go. And sinking back. And you won't go back as far, and that's okay. That's another movement variation into your hips and pelvis. After you've done several breaths, just try the other side and compare. So just another option for you. My one hip says no thanks. That one's tough. We've done that one on your back before. It's the same idea. As you're in that position, breathe into any areas of tightness. If you've got tightness in the knees, this is a nice one too. as long as it's not too much pressure. Good. And when you're ready, you can unwind that. And we'll just come up into sitting. Just this a little. So let's come into sitting with the knees bent in front, feet together. And we'll just take our hands to the tops of the knees. So work towards being right on your sits bones. Try not to be too rolled back because we will be going there. And we want our hands on our knees here. So we're going to take a nice inhale, and you're going to reach your reach your chest towards your thighs, roll your shoulders back and feel an arch of your spine. And then you're going to rolling right back onto your tailbone, letting the arms extend, tucking your chin, pulling the shoulders down and reaching between your shoulder blades. Then we'll inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, lift your gaze, and then we'll exhale, rolling back, arms reaching long. Almost a bit of a core support required here. Let's do that once more. Inhaling, lifting the gaze, lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders back, using your hands on your knees for support. And then exhale, opposite direction. Tuck the chin, roll back. Lovely. So inhaling back up to sitting. Let's bring your feet a little bit wider this time. I'll turn to the side. I'm going to place our hands behind us, fingers pointing away. Be right on your sits bones, just tipped back. So my spine is straight. So I don't want to be rounded into the lower back. Tuck the chin a little so you're not kind of hanging it out to dry. Press down into your palms. So there's no hyperextension of those elbows. So we don't want to use the elbows as a lever here. You want to lengthen through the whole arm. So press into the palms, feeling a bit of lift of the upper body. Roll the shoulders back and just see what that feels like. There's usually a bit of pull down through the biceps, across the chest, maybe in the forearms. If that's enough for you, stay here. If not, you can scoot your bum forward and go a little deeper into that position. So again, I want to just draw the chin back, roll the shoulders down, and pressing into the palms to lift the chest. Spine is straight. Lots of tension through the front body. And just breathing there. So real good front body opener. If you spend a ton of time on screens through your day right now, this is a great position to just drop to the floor to do. And let's let that relax. Come back to sitting. We're going to tuck the right knee in and reach the left leg long. So I'm in that like hurdler's position, but my pelvis is stacked, so I'm right on my sit bones. My rib cage is just relaxed over, so you don't have to be super tall. We definitely don't want to be too rounded. If that's too much, you can bend your knee, okay? And you can always adjust where that leg is if it's too much on the knee. So you can always be out here if that's better for you. So we're going to take the hands to the side body. We'll inhale those arms all the way up overhead. Reach towards the ceiling. See if you can root your sit bones down, but reach towards the ceiling. And I'm going to turn the body, twist from the upper body towards that straight leg, and then exhale, take the hands down. So my pelvis is exactly where it was to start. My upper body turned towards the straight leg. So spine is straight. I'm hinging forward. I'm rooting the sits bones down. That left leg is straight and strong. Foot is flexed. Take several breaths here and work towards finding length of that left leg, but also the back of your pelvis. So if you have any tightness in through the glutes and the sits bones and the tailbone, work towards a gentle pull there. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Either staying here, or if you're comfortable, you can walk your hands towards your feet, towards your foot rather. And if you want to now, you can softly fold over top. So find roundness of your upper body. So there's still support in the pose. We don't want to be totally lifeless into an aggressive stretch. And if you are very bendy and this is quite easy for you, just make sure you have some rooting. So root your pelvis down, tighten the quad, press the heel into the floor so we know you have strength in the position. And just continue to breathe there. So I have a little bit more through the lower back now. I'm just gently letting my spine round. But it's by no means kind of a maximal stretch where I'm holding my breath and can't soften into it. Let's take one more deep breath in. And then let's roll that back up. Straighten the body up over the pelvis again. We'll stay here for one more variation. We'll inhale, arms all the way up. And then we're going to exhale and twist. So the arm comes across the front body, levers on the knee, and I've perched my fingertips behind me. So again, stay on the sits bones. You'll want to rock forward and rock off them. Stay on the sits bones. Relax the ribs down and into the body. Don't forget about that straight leg. Keep it strong and active. Inhale to be tall in your spine. Exhale to twist away. I so want to arch and come forward on my sit bones. And I'm going to work towards rooting your pelvis into the mat, keeping the spine from arching. Keep the front ribs softening in towards the body. Roll that back shoulder back and breathe into that. So twists always get a little trickier when we're also demanding length at the same time. So this is a real nice movement. On your next inhale, let's unwind. Let's bend both knees in front, lean back on your hands, and just gently windshield wiper your legs from side to side here. And again, just notice. Okay, let's set up the other side. So opposite leg, my right leg is nice and straight. I'm going to tuck that left leg in as much as I'm comfortable with. I'm going to be right on my sits bones. Spine is straight, neither rounded or arched. Ribs settle down and in. Okay, find your optimal position there. Hands to the side body. Inhale, lift up. Root your sits bones down, but reach fingertips to ceiling. And then hands down towards the straight leg. So first step is that straight spine hinge. Notice what you notice here. Still try and keep that knee pressing down towards the floor and an active, strong right leg. Remember, my pelvis is still straight forward. My upper body is turned. I'm going to breathe into the tension of the position, but I'm keeping a lot of structure right now. So nice way to think about a stretch or a lengthening, undoing in a yoga pose or otherwise is first find form in the position, an optimal alignment. Notice that first and then soften into it. So now we'll take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can let the arc or the straightness of the spine go. Gently round the spine, walking your hands a little bit more away. And again, just noticing. This side might feel completely different. That's okay. Still root your sit bones to the mat. Try not to roll off them. And just find the sweet spot. So more isn't better. But I feel this all through my opposite side of the spine. I feel it obviously through the hamstring of my straight leg. I feel it deep in the pelvis for me. So I can send my breath right down into that pelvic floor, the tailbone to let that relax. Think about widening the sits bones. One more full breath in. And a full breath out. Let's inhale, walk back up. Turn to straighten the body. Now we'll add that twist. So we'll inhale, arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, twist, hand to the outside of that bent knee. Tense your fingers, so fingertips behind the body. Resist the urge to overarch the spine. Settle the spine down. Sit bones into the mat. Think of the twist coming through your rib cage, your shoulder girdles. Just like you're wringing out a washcloth. Think of it as a corkscrew or wringing out a cloth, but rooted or anchored from below. One more deep breath in. Exhale, twist. And inhale back through center. Lovely. Bend the knees, lean back, windshield wiper the hips. Okay. Let's do a little bit of work in down dog and one kind of opening posture there. So find your tabletop. Center back on the mat. Tuck your toes in your tabletop. Take a big inhale. And as we exhale, hips to ceiling, up into our down dog. Adjust the length of your down dog. Remember to root through your index finger and your palm, your thumb. Think about hugging your biceps to your ears. Knees can be softly bent, and maybe you just pedal your feet here. I can sink my chest to the heels, to my thighs rather. Just kind of play with that, see what it looks like for you. Take a nice inhale in your down dog. And as you exhale, just shift forward to your plank. Let's just take a couple deep breaths in your plank. You can always drop the knees if that's more comfortable for you. Nice inhale and exhale. Another inhale. And as we exhale, back to your downward dog. Again, pedaling the feet. Might be a couple cracks in the ankle, the hips, the knees. That's cool. Take a big breath in. And then exhale back to your plank. Take a couple more breaths in your plank. Another inhale. Exhale back to downward dog. Okay, transitioning to a variation of a side plank. So we're going to step our left foot to the outside, but not quite at my left hand. So I'm almost in that lunge position, but really wide. My foot's actually off the mat. I'm going to bring my right hand towards the center a little more so my balance is better. And then I'm going to inhale and lift that left arm towards the sky. So I'm in an awkward lunge position from below and a twist from above. If that's too much, you can always drop your back knee. So think about keeping your pelvis towards the mat, strong through your feet, And then press into that right hand and twist away towards the ceiling. Let's exhale, come down. Step back to your downward dog. If you need a break at any point, come down to your child's pose if you need to get off those wrists. So a couple breaths in your down dog. We're going to do the other side. So take a nice inhale. Exhale, right knee nice and wide off the mat towards my right hand. Move left hand towards the center of your mat. Root down into your left hand, your right foot, and your left back toes. Inhale, palm to ceiling. Pelvis towards the floor, towards your mat. Upper body rotates. Breathing there. Always dropping the back knee if that's more comfortable. And let's exhale, come back down. Let's take a child's pose just for a moment. We're going to do one more variation of that. Just notice what you notice in your child's pose. I notice my back feels a lot more muscularly happy right now. I was doing all kinds of kettlebell stuff yesterday. Really breathe into the back body as you sit in your child's pose. And on your next inhale, let's come back up to tabletop. And when you're ready, we'll take a breath in and exhale, downward dog. Okay, find your happy downward dog there. We'll inhale, bring the left leg to the outside of that left hand, just like we did before. Scoot your right hand towards the middle of the mat to help your balance. Now you can either stay here or you can quarter turn that left foot to open up the left hip. So now my toes are pointing left. If that's available to you and it's not too much pressure on your knee, stay there. Inhale, lift your left hand towards the ceiling. So you're really working to press that left knee away to open up the hip. Make sure you're not all twisted through your pelvis. So I've got to tuck my lower abs in and really reach out through that back leg. Take another couple breaths here. So again, another kind of compensatory movement here would be to arch your lower back. Let's exhale back down, untwist the left foot, reach back, down dog. So again, your choice. Center in your down dog again. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, right hand towards, or right foot towards right hand, outside of the mat, nice and wide. Walk left hand in. If it's available to you, turn and rotate that foot right, pressing the knee away. So I'm opening up through the hip. I'm going to take a big inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to open that up. So it helps me to really reach my left heel back and really tuck the lower core to lengthen my tailbone away. I'm going to press into my left hand and rotate through that upper body. So a lot of things going on, a lot more strength with length here. Notice where you want to lose your support. Work towards supporting where you need it. One more breath in. Exhale. Take that arm back, or that hand back rather, step back, down dog. Pedal your feet a little in your down dog. And just kind of process what that pose meant for you. Usually highlights some difficulty turning at the hip while maintaining your spine. Let's walk your feet back up to standing, and let's just bend the knees softly and relax in a forward fold. Take a nice couple deep breaths here. Bend those knees really generously. Let your chest fall. Support your upper body on your lower. And then let's walk your feet. Shimmy them as wide as your yoga mat. Use your hands to help you and come down into that wide squat if it's available. If it's not, you can go straight to your bum because that's where we're going. But if you can you keep your shoulders on the inside of your thighs, and can you rock in that deep squat a little? That's a hard one. Your heels might come up. If you need your heels to come up, that's okay. But see if you can really deeply sit into that squat. This is something worth working on. So breathe low into the pelvis. Rock back and forth. Notice what you notice. So my most tightness is right in that front kind of groin. Feels pretty good through the back and my spine, my ankles. And then when we're ready, we'll just sit back down. Bring your knees in front. And just relax there. Good stuff. So we're going to make our way down towards our back. We'll do one more twist and then we'll relax in our Shavasana. So take a nice inhale, hands to knees. And as you exhale, slowly roll down. And then give those knees a hug in toward your chest. Just notice what you notice now. Okay, so knees and hips at 90 degrees, palms out towards the sides. I'm going to take a nice inhale, and as I exhale, I'm just going to let those knees fall towards the right. I'm working towards stacking my knees, my shins, my feet. You can adjust your hands to a T now, palms up to the ceiling. Roll the left shoulder back and the chest towards the ceiling. And if you want, you can take your right hand to the outside of that left knee and just anchor the twist. So remember again, lower spine, fairly relaxed and straight. Twist from the hips and pelvis, as well as the upper body. Let's just spend a few breaths here. Lovely. Inhaling those knees back up through center. Reset your spine, straighten everything out. Hands to the side body, take a big breath in. Exhale, knees to the left. Once the knees are down, stack them as best you can, and then peel your upper body back to the mat. Take the twist out of your lower spine by straightening the spine, so ribs soften into the body, tailbone reaches away. This way is way more easy for me. So nice, full, deep breaths here. Awesome. We'll inhale back through center. Give the knees a hug. And at this point, we're going to make our way down into our Shavasana, unless there's anything else your body would prefer first. So make sure you're comfy. If you want to put socks back on or a sweater, blanket, just find your way down into a comfortable Shavasana. That way we can seal our practice. And allow your body to just settle in after all those movements. Coming full circle, so finding stillness in your body and refocus on the breath. Adjust so that you're comfortable. Make sure you feel supported. Working towards that full inhale and that long, complete exhale. Starting to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Bring some awareness and movement back to your body. Take a full deep breath and a real full letting go exhale. And when you're ready in your own time, move on and roll over to your right hand side. Curl up in a little ball. And totally offer yourself some gratitude for your movement practice today. And then when you're ready, you can make your way up to a cross-legged seated position. Hopefully no one fell asleep. If you ever fell asleep in Shavasana, I've done that before. It's the best. Okay, hands together, heart center. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, close your eyes, bow your head. From my light to yours, namaste. Thanks, everybody. All good? There was no freezing. It was so great.
It's good, Jen. Thanks.
Thanks, Jen.
Awesome. Thank you.
Jen.
We'll see you next
Thank
week.
you.
It's family
Thank you,
day.
Jen.
We'll have yoga. I'm on a course the following weekend, so Danny's going to do a movement session same time.
Okay.
So,
Great. Thanks, Jen. That's great.
okay, have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.